After your first PU, when you go with your second PU, you will only deal with the affairs of a company. And students, this is a 8-mark question. You can get 2 questions from this chapter. Now you'll understand how people are making money. Now, sole trader is not making huge profit. Members of the company cannot be sued, but the company can be sued. The reason is, here we have given a creation of law. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. Students, now you have come across the forms of business which is like sole proprietor, then we went with partnership, and later we also got to know there is something called cooperative society. Today I'm gonna teach you something that is the best form of business which many people in India and across India, they're actually doing it. The thing is, you need to understand what exactly the business is. The business is joint stock company. What is it? Joint stock company. Students, you need to know what exactly a company is, because after your first PU, when you go with your second PU, you will only deal with the affairs of a company, and till your master degree of whether it is MBA or MCOM or where you actually want to work, it is all the company. Right, so you should know what exactly is the meaning of company. So let's know the meaning of company, then I'll tell you about what exactly the joint stock company means. Right, now you can actually imagine there are so many companies and people are making huge profit, and they are actually also getting more salary because they are in that company. So this is what a company kind of an example I have actually given. Now understand, imagine, right, you are working in Infosys. Just imagine the salary, how much you will get. You are working Reliance, how much salary you get. Now example I'm telling you, these are the companies which actually give you more salary. Just think that, can you own those company? So you will be like surprised, sir, how can I own that company? The company belongs to somebody. I'll tell you how exactly the company will be yours. Right, now the first thing you need to know is, what is company? Students, company is always, whenever we talk, it is an artificial person. What is it? It's an artificial person. Sir, it's a non-living thing. It cannot breathe, right? It cannot eat, it cannot actually go and meet its friend. But why you are saying it's a person? That's why I have told you it is what? It is an artificial person which has been constructed by an act. What is that act? That act is called the Companies Act 1956, and then we also have one more act called the Revised Companies Act. What is it? The Revised Companies Act, which is 2013. That means in this year the Companies Act of 1956 was revised. So what exactly they talk about this company? They say that, see, everywhere, sole proprietor to partnership, you know that there is a limitation. What is that limitation? The limitation is unlimited liability. Now, what is this meaning of unlimited liability? Sir, all the session you are telling us unlimited liability, right? The unlimited liability means if I owe something to you, right, I need to give the money completely. If I don't have, I need to sell my personal property, my personal assets, and then I need to give it to you. But when it comes to company and the cooperative society, please watch all these sessions, right? Cooperative society, what happens is, there is something called limited liability. Now why it is limited? Because those people will go and register themselves. When they register, what will happen is, all these government acts will be levied to them, and then they will actually get something called a benefit. From unlimited liability, it will get converted into limited liability. So we have these 2 acts. The first act is what? Companies Act 1956. All these are what? Companies Act. Right, now let's go with Companies Act 1956 and the Revised Company Act 2013. Now, what exactly a company is? A company is an artificial person where people will actually gather and they'll start their work with a main motive. Now, the motive can be anything. Now, it is not just motive of earning profit. It can be anything. That is what it is, and that too you need to understand. It should be always what? Legal. It cannot be illegal, because any business which is carried illegally will not be considered as a business. That is what you are supposed to understand. Let's go with what exactly it is. And people who are there in a company, we call them as the members. What are they called as? They are called as members. Let's go with a company is an association. Now you need to remember, cooperative society, voluntary association. The same way here also it is what? Voluntary association. Association of person formed for carrying out business activity. What is it? Business activity. That means buying, selling of goods or services, anything that is a business activity. When I say business activity, here what exactly happens is economy, right? Economy or the economic activity will be involved. The economy is different, economic activity is different, right? Business activity. And what exactly happens is has a legal, what is the word? Legal. Everything here, students, should be legal. Legal status independent of its member. That means here what has happened? Legal status is given. Now unlimited liability has become limited liability. Now even in cooperative society you have got all these ideas. That is how that will be like the status independent of its member. How will they achieve it? They'll achieve it because they have gone and they have registered. When they get registration, what happens is the business is separate and the members are separate. Even in company it's the same. That is, the business is separate and people who are there, right, even they are separate. That is what is called as legal status. That too what? Independent of its member. That means company is totally different and the members are different. This is what is called as a company. That too a joint stock company. The next thing is, let's know what exactly the joint stock company have. The same way what we had, sole proprietor had a feature, partnership had a feature, cooperative society had a feature. The same way here even the company will have feature. What are the features? And students, this is a 8-mark question. You can get 2 questions from this chapter, forms of business, and that to a 8-mark question, and one will be from the cooperative society, which you people have already gone through, and the next 8 marks is joint stock company. In that, the feature of company, they can ask for 8 marks. So you are supposed to understand all the features properly. So I'll tell you what all the features are, right? Now these 2 features I told you in the meaning itself. What exactly it is? Artificial person. Company is what? It's an artificial person. Then I told you something about the legal status, right? Now here, separate legal entity. Entity means the identity. Now it is what? Independent identity. That means company is different and the people are different. The next thing is, here we have a beautiful feature called formation. How a company is formed, what are the necessary documents you need to have, all those things I'll tell you in the formation. The next thing here you get is perpetual succession. What is it? Perpetual succession. What do you mean by perpetual succession? That means here what happens is, company is for more than 100 to 200 years. That means what? Men may come, men may go, but company will stay. That is what is called perpetual succession. Company doesn't have anything called death. The reason here is it's an artificial person. Person will actually go with the death, but company will never die. Only when the law will be enforced to that particular company, only then it will be what? Dead. That is how the things will go. The next one is control. Now in this feature, why control is a very important role? Now sole proprietor was there, right? Now sole proprietor, what happens is, you should know that who is the one who will control the business, the sole proprietor himself. When it goes to partnership, who are the person who control it? It is the partners who have invested the money. But here you will understand what exactly happens. The control, the owner is somebody, but the members are somebody, but who are the person who actually will control the company? You will understand here in this topic. The next thing is liability. I already told you what is the liability. Here in company there is a special feature called the unlimited liability will convert into limited liability. That's why they have made this form of business called company. The next is common seal. Now you'll understand, students. Just think about the seal or the logo or the name. Now there are some kind of a thing that is identically you will not get the same seal of a different company with respect to another company. The thing is what? They have a common seal. That means once the seal of a company is done, nobody can copy the same seal. If you copy the same seal, now there is something called the copyright and you will be sued. The last one is, in that company also you have something called risk bearing. That means what? In any form of business there is something which will be there, that is called the risk and uncertainty. Hope you all know what exactly the feature is. Let's go one by one and I'll tell you what are other features of company. Now the first one is what? Artificial person. Now it is what? It's an artificial person. Now please understand what exactly artificial person is. Now company cannot eat nor it can breathe, but still we consider that as an artificial person. The reason being what? The Companies Act 1956. When the company was started in India, what usually happened was the Britishers were there. When the Britishers were there, they thought that let's make a form of business where profit will be more than the losses. That's why, see, an example I'll give you. I'll start a business as a sole trader. What are the demerits of sole trader? You need to watch the session 1 and 2, then you will understand the demerits of sole trader. The thing is, resources are very few, but when it comes to this company, what happens is resources are more because more people are there. Now that is the reason you need to actually see all the sessions where you will get to know, because of the demerit of sole trader only partnership came. Right now, because of partnership demerits, cooperative society came. Now because of cooperative society demerits, the company has come. Now you'll understand how people are making money. Now sole trader is not making huge profit. Partnership firms, they're not making huge profit, nor the cooperative society. But when it comes to the company, they are making huge profit. They want to actually cover their losses in the name of a company. Now whatever happens, if this has an identity of artificial person, now what will happen? I'll tell you. People who are behind the company, right, behind the company, they are the members, promoters, stakeholders. Now they will not be like the sole trader or the partnership. They'll have a cover, that is the company. Anything wrong happens, it is the company which will face the consequences, and these people are what? They are safe. This is what the company's thing is. That's why they have given something called artificial person, and it has been given by the law. It is given by what? The law. Now understand, a company is a creation of law. What is it? A company is a creation of law. What kind of a law? The Act 1956, right? And then what is a revised Act of Company? The revised is what? 2013. Now you need to understand and you need to remember these Act, Companies Act 1956 and Companies Act 2013. The next thing, like natural person. See, company is an artificial person. Like natural person, whatever happens is, so company can be owned property in the sense, now though Reliance want to invest in Amazon, right? Now what will actually happen? The Amazon, Jeff Bezos has a deal with Mukesh Ambani. That will not come in the news. The news will be Reliance have invested on Amazon. The reason here is what? The company is investing in another company. That is what the thing is, because both the companies are what? Artificial person. Though it is actually run by Mukesh Ambani or Jeff Bezos, the deal will happen not with Mukesh Ambani or Jeff Bezos. It happens with the Reliance company, with Amazon company. That is what it is. And it can incur debts, borrow money. Now understand, borrow money. You will actually come across this. Kingfisher, a company which had borrowed money from the bank. It is not Vijay Mallya who borrowed money from the bank. It is what? The Kingfisher. Again, the company is coming here. You need to understand. They can enter into contracts. They can enter into contracts. See, whatever they are doing, it is like a person only. But I'll tell you when it will convert itself as an artificial person. Till now, it is all like a natural person. It is dealing with everything. And then a company can sue and to be sued. That means a company can file a case on another company, as well as the other company can sue this company. That means what? Both the way it goes with the thing. The next thing is, why it is called artificial person, I'll just tell you. Here, it is like a natural person, but the company is not a living thing. It's a non-living thing. That's why it is only made by the law. It's a creation of law. It is what? It's a creation of law. That's why we call this as artificial person. The next thing we go with, separate legal entity. Students, you need to know what exactly a separate legal entity is. Sole trader is not a separate legal entity. It's an entity, but it's not a separate legal entity. That means what? The business and the sole trader both are the same. You will only say that, okay, whether it is his business or the business, you will say that the sole trader is a identity but not separate. But when it comes to company, here what happens is the company is different and the people or the member, right, they are different. Now understand, members of the company cannot be sued, but the company can be sued. The reason is, here we have given a creation of law saying that this is something called company, an artificial person. Here, from the day of its incorporation, from a day of its incorporation, what is the meaning of incorporation? Incorporation means registration. A company acquires an identity. See, till you don't get registration, you will not get that identity. Only when you go and register your company, then you will get an identity, a distinct from its member. That is, members are different and company is different. The next thing is its assets and liability. Please understand the meaning of assets and liability. Assets and liabilities are separate from those of its owner. Now understand, though, say I gave an example of Jeff Bezos and Mukesh Ambani, right? Mukesh Ambani has lot of money. When you compare it with the Reliance money, all the Reliance money, is it Mukesh Ambani's money? Definitely no. The reason is what? Because it is registered, and you will get to know the assets and liabilities of Reliance is totally different from the assets and liabilities of Mukesh Ambani. The next thing is, the law does not recognize the business and the owner to be one and the same. Now understand, there is a problem here, sir. Reliance is started by Mukesh Ambani. Actually, let me tell you, it was started by Dhirubhai Ambani. Now when he started with the Reliance, what happens is, he registered the company as the Reliance Industries. Now understand what has happened. The minute he registered, incorporation is done. Now what is the thing? It's what? A distinct from its member. Dhirubhai Ambani is different and Reliance is totally different. Now here what has happened? They say that 1956 Companies Act, which one? 1956 Companies Act. They say that the assets of the owner and the assets of the company is totally different. Now what has happened? Dhirubhai Ambani's asset was something, Reliance asset was something. The next one is when it comes to the law, because company is what? A creation of artificial person by the law. The law says that the law does not recognize, what is it? The law does not recognize the business and the owner. Business and the owner. Now you will have a question, sir, then who is the owner of Reliance? Now I'll tell you, if you Google, if you do the Wikipedia kind of a thing, if you type Mukesh Ambani is not the owner of the Reliance Industry. He is the managing director. What is it? He is the managing director and the chairman of Reliance Industry. So who are the owners? In the coming sessions I'll tell you who are the owners of the company. The next thing is formation. That means how a company is actually formed and what exactly the procedures are. Now this is actually a beautiful feature which you need to understand. When it comes to the formation of a company, what really happens, you know that company is what? Artificial person. That is one. The second thing is the law has given this creation. The law is also there. The third one here is what? It has separate legal entity. Everything is what? Separate here. That means the company is different and the members are different. Now what is a formation? What exactly happens here? Understand, the formation of a company is the time consuming and it is what? It is expensive and complicated process. Sir, this is a demerit. No sir. No, I'll tell you, when you make profit, all these demerit will get converted into merit, because here you can expect more profit than sole trader, partnership or cooperative society. So that's why the legal formality should happen. That to what? It is a lengthy process. The next thing here is registration of a company. What is it? Registration. Now registration should happen. No, registration, only when registration happens there will be the fourth one, that is separate legal entity. Right now registration should happen. Under what registration should happen? That too you need to know the Act 1956. Which one? 1956. That too Companies Act of 1956. Registration of a company is compulsory. Now where have you actually seen this word compulsory in the forms of business? You need to go back. Cooperative society, you have seen cooperative society registration is what? Compulsory. The same way here also it's the same thing. Has provided under the Indian Companies Act. Which act? Indian Companies Act 1956. Students, please remember this act. Next one is what? Perpetual succession. I told you, men may come, men may go, but company will actually leave. Now Dhirubhai Ambani was there, and when he was there he told Mukesh Ambani and Anil Ambani that now you people need to take care about the Reliance Industry. So what has happened? The father has given the key to whom? To his successor. That is what happens. Perpetual succession. But still company is there, the industry, the Reliance is still there. Though Dhirubhai Ambani is not there, still the Reliance is running and it is running very profitably. Here, perpetual succession, what exactly it means? A company begins or being a creation of, what is it? Creation of the law. So I told you artificial person, so it is done by whom? By the law. Can be brought to an end only by law. See, the law has created company, only the law can destroy the company, or else what happens is it goes long and long. The next thing is it will only cease to exist to exit when a specific procedure for the closure of what? Closure. We call that as winding up. What we call that as winding up or liquidating. Only then the perpetual succession will come to a halt, or else what happens is, see, I'll give you an example of Tata Company. Now Tata Company was started by Jamshed Tata. Now still now you have this company called Tata Company and they are into every business. Now the reason is what? Company has a feature called perpetual succession. Now example, if in 17th century somebody had started a sole proprietorship, do you think in 2020 also he'll be there? Definitely no, because business is what? The minute that sole proprietor dies, the business also dies. Same example with a partnership. Any of the partner will die, now partnership is done. It is like done and dusted. But when it comes to company, even there are company which were in 16th century, even now the company is there. The reason is what? Because of this feature, perpetual succession. That means they are doing extremely good. The next one is control. Now you will understand what exactly the control is all about. Who are the people who will control the company? Students, let me tell you now, let me use the word called shareholders. What is it? Shareholders. Now students, who are the shareholders? People who have purchased the share of the company are called as shareholders. Now the shareholders are the real owner, right? They are what? They are the real owners of the company. But do you mean to say that the owners of the company are the shareholder? Now if I go and purchase the Jio shares, right, or if I buy Reliance shares, what happens? Am I the owner of the company? Definitely yes, because the law says whoever are the shareholder, they are the owner. And that too, what type of shareholders? That is equity shareholders. What type of shareholders? Equity shareholders. I'll tell you about more about this equity shareholder, preference shareholder in the coming sessions. Just for a nutshell, I'm giving you just what exactly happens. Now I have purchased only one share. Now am I the owner? Yes, definitely. According to the law, it says that even a person who has a one share is a owner of the company. But who started it? You need to understand who started it. Though the person started it, when he lists his business into a company, automatically he loses the power of being a owner. Understand, he is not the owner anymore. So who are the people who will control? Will the general public control all the affairs of the business? Definitely no. There is somebody called board of directors. Who are they? Board of directors. Now this we call them as BOD, board of directors. Now board of directors are the one who will actually control the business. And how exactly they will do? Now you need to know the levels. Now there are like top level, middle level and supervisory level. Here all the top level is what? These people will be there. That is the board of directors, the managing director, the chairman, all those people will come, and the top level management will actually control the affairs of the business. Now let's know the management and the control. The management and the control of the affairs of the company is undertaken by the board of directors. What is it? It is taken by board of directors, and this board of directors will appoint. What will they do? They'll appoint top management. What is it? They'll appoint top management officials for running the business. Say if general public, whoever has money, and if they go and they buy 1 lakh shares of Reliance, automatically what happens is they are also the owner of the company. But do you think the general public, whoever have purchased 1 lakh shares of Jio or the 1 lakh shares of Reliance, now will they go and sit and tell Mukesh Ambani, beta ab tu chale ja, now you are supposed to step down because I am the owner? Can you say that? Definitely no. That is what the law also says. The next thing is liability. I don't want to rush more in the liability because you people know what exactly the liability is. Now here in a company, what happens is it is a limited liability. The minute you go and register, what happens is the company is different. What happens? The company is different and the members are different. Now the members don't need to pay the debts from selling their personal property. So that is what happens here. Now the liability of the members, is limited to the extent of the capital contributed by them in the company. Now how much ever capital I have actually contributed, only that much will be my liability if the company goes for a loss. But if the company goes for a profit, definitely I'll have only that limitation of how much capital I have actually invested. The second one is the creditors can use only the assets of the company to settle their claims. Now see, this is the real problem why many of the people who are the big tycoons of Indian business, they are nowhere in India. They have escaped to some other country, but still they are what? They are freely roaming. The reason is what? This is what it is. Even Vijay Mallya, after the Kingfisher came like zoop, like down, and what really happened? He just escaped to London and then he went to so many other countries. The reason is what? This is what the liability is. Members are different and the company is different. And the creditors, who are that? They are the creditors. Now what happens? The settlement will happen, right? The creditors can The creditors can use only the asset of the company. That's why Vijay Mallya is also running very freely. The reason is what? The law also says that it's not the Vijay Mallya who is supposed to give, it is what? The company only should give. Whatever Vijay Mallya has taken, the loan has in his name, only those he should actually give. Whatever the loans he has taken in the name of the company will only need to give it back. So how they will take it? The company asset is there, the values are there, they'll just take it. That is what happens here. The next one is common seal. Please understand what is exactly a common seal is. Now this is one of the example of the company common seal. There are now so many kind of examples with the common seal, how scientifically they have gone through it. But the real thing is what? Common seal means it is the identity. What is it? Identification, for the identification. Okay, this is actually done by this company. Now company cannot sign, right? Company cannot sign. On behalf of the company, what happens is the seal will be there, and that is what is the consent given by the company is what you are supposed to understand. A company being an artificial person acts through its board of directors. So who does that? Board of directors will actually do that. The board of directors enter into an agreement with others by the indicating the company's approval through the common seal. Now, company cannot actually approve through this common seal. If the seal is done, the board of directors will give it to the other company. Now, the other company members, that is the board of directors, will say that they have given the consent, that is through the common seal. The next one here is risk bearing. Students, everywhere in every business you have something called risk, and what the company also does. Even the company, though it is perpetual succession, though separate legal entity, everything is there, risk is also there. What exactly it is? The risk of losses in a company is borne by all the shareholder. What happens is, if students, the company is making profit, who will actually get the profit? The owner. Who are the owners? The shareholders are the owners. Who are the owners? The shareholders are the owners. But if profit is getting, yes, you will get more money. What if the losses is there? Who should actually take the burden? The shareholders only should take the burden. Now what happens? I'll give you the same example of Reliance. Mukesh Ambani is making huge profit. He is not getting it. He need to give it to the owner, that is the shareholder. Now in that, Mukesh Ambani also has the shares of Reliance Industry. That is, he has maximum shares of Reliance Industry. Now what happens? If Reliance Industry is coming down, that is losses is there, it is not alone Mukesh Ambani who will actually need to sacrifice his money, it is the shareholders as well. That is what is called the risk bearing. The next thing is, this is unlike the case of sole proprietorship or partnership firm, where one or few people respectively bear the losses. That means what? In company, what happens? You have a strength, that is, there are too many shareholders. That means what? The losses also they can actually bear. But in sole proprietor, what happens? Only one person is there and he should bear it. So that is actually maximum risk is more. Where in sole trader. Now partnership, what happens? They share risk. That to what? One or two or three or four people will be there, and then they'll share risk. In partnership, what usually happens is there should be what? Minimum of 2 and maximum of 100. But students, here also risk is there, right? But when it comes to company, you have lakhs together, that is, the shareholders are crores together. Now if the company comes for a loss, all those 1,000 or all those lakhs shareholders need to actually bear the risk. That is what the company is. Now after getting to know all the features of a company, now you'll feel that more than sole trader or a partnership, this form of business is very, very good because it gives you more profit. If you have any doubt, if you have any kind of things, you can actually call us, message us, you know what exactly to be done. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.